We had an issue with like another session and this one at the same time, that were the same thing. So give us a minute or two and we should be ready to go. For those that are here, note that you don't have to click share audio or video. I know, Justin, you did. Feel free to click the leave button. You won't leave the room. You just leave the share audio and video session. Everyone is a participant. So no matter what, like everyone will be in there. And then if you ask someone to come up on stage, then go ahead and click on that share audio and video button. In broadcast, all you have to do is click the share audio video, and then you should be able to have hosting controls. There we go. And then the little button next to your microphone there, Brock, that is the share screen button. And then you'll be all good to go.
Yeah, I see that. Thanks.
Yep.
One second here. A backdrop. Okay. First of all, just thanks for everybody joining in. Coming off of that breakout session, a lot of good information from Garvey there. Hope you guys had a chance to check that out. Some really good stuff. Hit home with me on a lot of different levels. Wanted to take the time. We'll go over just some general information on esports, kind of a broad spectrum of the different categories of it. So you've got competitive, educational, and you've got your casual side of it as well. Kind of give you an idea of what IHSEA is doing moving forward, and how to get started as we go along for this next season coming up in the next school year. So I'm going to share with you a PowerPoint here. One moment. So we generally do onboard sessions through IHSEA, usually once to twice a month, kind of as we get going in the seasons. And we go over some, like general information for, esports and IHSEA and what we're doing as a state and moving forward with different seasons and things like that. So this is similar to what we would do. Basically, esports, what is esports? It's more than just gaming. A lot of, community members and things as you move out and you talk about, hey, we're starting an esports club. Hey, we've got esports going on. They don't understand what that is. Still, it's still a young situation, still a young topic, as we move forward through Illinois and throughout the nation even. So esports is more than just gaming for these students and for us as, administrative and teachers and things like that too. For these students, I've definitely seen an increased socialization through, all levels. You hit a larger student target area. It improves their psychological state. It's really nice for them to be able to disconnect from what's going on with, their school day and their personal lives and things like that, and kind of be able to sit down, even competitively or casually, with some of their other, students and peers, and kind of just casually play some games and hang out. So a lot of things I've seen in my area, we're kind of a high free reduced lunch, area, higher poverty. So a lot of these kids, their home life situations don't allow them to have the gaming equipment, or the situations to really sit down and pursue something that esports can provide them. And then also you're going to hit not just your traditional athletes, but typically the students that get involved with esports are those that are not involved in any other activities with the school. So this gives them a nice chance to represent their school, and their community, in something that they're passionate about. So an esports breakdown, like I mentioned previously, we got competitive, casual, and then the educational side. It's not just video games sitting, in a dark room, yelling at your screen, not accomplishing anything. There's a lot more to it. And I think, going out and talking about it to the community, getting this information out there, it really helps people see the wider side of this and why it's so beneficial for these students to have this opportunity and what it could actually lead to, ultimately scholarships and then, a career. So let's see, breaking down with the competitive side, you're going to see a lot of skill development, pro-social behavior. You're going to see some team building, critical thinking, and then, as I mentioned just a minute ago, scholarship opportunities. We just signed 2 students to Illinois Wesleyan, not just a few months ago, and we're looking at probably signing 2 or 3 more off of our Overwatch team in the next year or 2, as well as our League of Legends team. And that's amazing. If I kind of step back in my situation when I was in high school, if I had something like this, it would have been a game changer for me. I probably would have taken things a lot more serious as far as, my grade level and things like that, and kind of pursuant of a college career, a lot earlier than what I did in my life. So to have this extra door opening for those students, again, going back to those that are not typically involved in other activities in the school, you're just creating more opportunities there for them to move on, not just in gaming, but also in shoutcasting, media, law, anything, design. I mean, people got to design logos and things, or your jersey, logos. And I mean, there's just so many more opportunities than just, hey, I'm going to go be a pro gamer. So, but the competitive side of it does hit home for a lot of that skill development. So with the casual side, a lot more socialization, like I mentioned a little bit ago with the psychosocial. You can kind of disconnect. You can go peer-to-peer inclusion. You're sitting down, hanging out. I see a lot of this in our club side. They just want to come in for an hour and come in, play Smash Bros, or hit Rocket League and try out some different, combos and things like that. It also helps out with that psychological, emotional state. Again, that disconnect, and then touching base with the home life situation. I really see this a lot where, hey, I can't afford a Nintendo Switch. I can't afford a proper gaming computer. As most of you probably know, those 30 series graphics cards are not cheap right now. So to build a high-end PC, typically, most of the students that I would come across couldn't afford that without making some much bigger sacrifices. And then we've got the educational side, and this is something I'm increasingly interested in moving forward in our program. But there are curriculum out there. You can check out NASEF. I think IHSEA has some different STEM accredited free curriculum, things like that. But generally, right now out there, it's about gaming concepts, kind of talking about how scholarships can be created, how you can pursue those scholarships, entrepreneurship, and then what I really like is the digital citizenship aspect of it. So, you always hear about the keyboard warriors and the toxic community of, if anybody's ever played League of Legends, that it can get pretty toxic, so I like the fact that we're teaching these kids digital citizenship of how to present themselves online now. So as Garvey mentioned, in the breakout session, they're representing their school, their community, and you've got to really hold them accountable, their P's and Q's to as they are the face of that school, and they may be on Twitch streaming, they've got to know how to present themselves. So I really like the digital citizenship portion of that. NASEF has a breakdown, I think, of 9 through 12 grade level, like curriculum and things like that. And I'm pretty sure everything's all free. So I can give you guys that information as we move forward. Just reach out to me. I can send you some links and things like that. Okay, organizational. These are basically the ones that we have dealt with and we have done as a club and competitive side. So we've got the nonprofit side with IHSEA, of course, and then NASEF. There is a nonprofit organization as well. Then you have your for-profit, which High School Esports League, HSCL, and then Playverse. I'm sure some of you have probably been in Playverse or HSCL before and kind of experienced their programs and things like that. And personally, it's not cheap. Again, going back to that home life with us, it's not something that we can afford per student license. Paying $60+ per kid per for the whole season even. So that's one of the things that really fit with us with IHSEA and NASEF, not being nonprofit. They can allow and provide a better opportunity for the students to be able to compete all across the board, not just the ones that can afford it. So a little more on IHSEA, and these are things that I've personally dealt with and personally experienced through IHSEA. They are well more organized and informative, definitely budget friendly. Again, talking about that home life situation, being able to afford it. And then we are a lower budget, club and competitive, scene right now. We're still trying to get the proper funding and things. So that budget friendly really helps us with that. I love that it's a community based over business. They're really trying to drive home that community feel, that family, that friendship, not just, hey, we're providing you this service, and this is what it's going to cost. And you feel that disconnect. Another thing I love, I am a coach. I'm a head coordinator esports down at Massachusetts County High School. I am one of the IHSEA personnel. I help with the onboarding and get the information out there of what they can do and moving forward and things like that. But as myself and all the other staff members, we're all community and staff that are coaching at our own locations throughout Illinois. And I love that. And I think that helps drive home that community versus business. It's very increased personal level versus, again, just that disconnect of, hey, we've got a service, buy this. They've been operating at IHSEA since 2016. We've been involved with them at Massachusetts County High School for about 3 years now. And I have no plans to exit their function. So the current games that IHSEA are providing right now is, of course, Overwatch, League of Legends, Valorant, and then you've got Smash Bros, Rocket League, and Fortnite. And each of these seasons, they're actually working on their basically seasonal plan and their scheduling and things like that right now. So again, with IHSEA, it's $100 flat fee for all games, all across the board, all year long. And they're actually planning to be 100% free in the future. And I think that's fantastic. So again, that really drives home with me. And I think it'll help a lot of the other schools that are trying to get started with, again, you're fighting an uphill battle of convincing your administrative or your community of why this is such a good thing, and then coming in saying, hey, it's only $100 for a whole season, or hopefully in the near future it'll be 100% free. That takes a little weight off that shoulder of really driving this forward and creating your own program. So they also have that year-round season with JV brackets. I do like that as well. With some of the other programs, we found that it was kind of a lumped in together one season, and that's what you had to deal with. A lot of times we were not competing with other students or, through the state of Illinois. It was all across. It was very random. It was kind of unorganized, and it ended up sadly becoming an issue where a lot of times my students didn't even get to play. So I like the structure of the year-round season. I can have a varsity team and a JV team, and it feels a little more traditional as far as the sporting events and student activities go. So again, reach out for the upcoming schedules and seasons. They are still working on those. I think they've got those almost done talk with Todd McFarland on that, and I'm sure we can get some more information out on you there. So the next steps with us, definitely want to get on. You want to register with IHSEA, and we'll talk about expectations next, kind of moving forward. How do you get your own club going, or how do you move forward with IHSEA? And then very important, have your students start joining our Discord and get that verification process going, so we can get you in there and get you in your own team channel and kind of get everything organized. And that way we can get that information to you all as fast as possible as the season schedules come out and things like that. So expanding a little bit on expectations, you definitely want to assign a staff member as a general manager. It's really hard to have just a student run that. You really have to have some kind of faculty member being the face of that for your high school. It helps with the credibility and accountability through IHSEA and IHSA as they kind of move forward as sanctioning it as a student activity. GM and coaches, they will also join the IHSEA Discord. They'll go through their own verification process. And then once they're verified as a coach or general manager of that, they'll be put in that same team channel. And also they have coaching channels and things like that. So when registration opens, sign up your team immediately. The faster you can get in there and get everybody verified and get registered, the faster you'll get the information out. You guys can, kind of start practicing. You'll get a game plan. I know I kind of coach soccer as well. So I know that it's easier when I get my game schedule in. I can kind of break down my practice plan, my conditioning plan, and things like that. So the sooner we can get that information to you when you register, the better. So that's kind of my little presentation there. I'll flip back my video here. I would definitely like, if anybody has any Q&A or something, if you guys want to post that in the Q&A channel, I'll be glad to answer any questions on getting started or how we've kind of gotten started. Or anything really, anything esports related, I'm glad to help. Is that logo still backwards? So I see somebody asked if we had a video that they can watch. We have all these sessions are going to be recorded, and I think they're going to get those out some way, shape, or form. But I can also share. I have multiple PowerPoints and things that we've presented on. I'd be happy to share any of that information with you. My email, I have one through IHSEA. It's just B Frazier, Frazier at IHSEA.org. And feel free to contact me, and I'll send you this PowerPoint's presentation. I've got some videos. I've got some others with kind of expanding a little more on why esports and the educational side and things like that too. Okay, so the question is the $100 fee for the entire team. Yes. So you'll register your team roster for each different each different gaming platform. So if you've got a Rocket League team, you've got a League of Legends team, it's $100 flat fee for the whole season, all games. So what you'll do is you'll register that team. You'll get everybody in Discord. You'll get them all verified. Part of that registration process is that $100 fee, and that covers everything. Whereas if you've dealt with IHS or HSEL or Playverse, you would know that they're charging you a license per student. So you're talking $60 or so for each license for, I think, Playverse, and I'm probably off a little bit on that price point. And then HSEL, I think when we started, it was only $5 to $15, but I think they're up to, I think 15 to 20, 25 now. It's been a few years since we've really used them. And I just, some students that I've dealt with, okay, they could probably pay that and they want to, get involved in this and that. But a lot of them are going, hey, I can't pay $60 per game per student. So that's, again, why I really like that $100 price point flat fee. So are there any extra obstacles coming from a high poverty area? My big obstacle with my area, again, that uphill battle with trying to convince people that this is such a good thing. And we started about 6 years ago. I literally had about 8 students on our first year. We were meeting once a week. I was very new to this, trying to learn how we would actually, be able to function, doing something like this, whereas the whole entire high school area, was growing as well. Collegiate had kind of started with Robert Morris College in Illinois. So it was still very new, and to do esports with high school, it was kind of hard too. So one of my big uphill battles with the high poverty area was getting that funding, when the school says, hey, we don't have this funding. So you got to get really creative, or we did. And there are grants that we got involved in with State Farm where they have gift grant where you can, and they may still have this, where you can apply for a gift grant and they'll give you 20 to 25 laptops that are capable of running, things like League of Legends. They might not run Valorant or Overwatch as well, but you could probably run League of Legends and maybe even like Rocket League a little bit off of. So that really helped us. We also built a couple of arcade machines, and I put one over our junior high location and one of our high school location, and that kind of gave us a small trickle of income kind of coming in as a fundraiser, as well as it's just like a traditional sport, really, if you look at it. So you can take some of these traditional sport fundraising programs and run those with your esports club. And I know when we were into our second, third year, we were already pushing 146 to 167 kids involved. And, comparatively to, let's say, like my soccer team, I've got 25 kids, so there's a big potential there. If each person only sold a few things, you can bring in enough money to maybe build a PC here and there or get a console. And then also we had community members, and we had, parents and even the kids, they had equipment and stuff. They brought those in and donated stuff like that. So that was some of the obstacles that we kind of had to deal with the higher poverty area, was definitely the funding. I mean, you've got to get creative with it. But the really cool thing with esports is you can just focus on one game. So let's say you got some grant money and through State Farm, got some laptops given. You could play League of Legends. You can pay that $100 flat fee, play League of Legends, kind of get your name going, kind of get your program going, get that information out in the community. And as that builds, hopefully you'll get more funding and things like that. And so aside from the $100 fee, what other fees other than hardware might we have? Let's see, athletic directors or activity directors doing scheduling. That's kind of a touchy subject here with me, because as we kind of move forward, I was wondering that myself with the AD. Are they going to eventually, if IHSA takes over and sanctions this as a student activity, are they going to start doing scheduling kind of with what we do with our traditional sports? The good thing is right now, if you get it involved with IHSEA, they're going to do all the scheduling for you. They're going to have all that information out for you. You'll know well in advance when you're supposed to play, who you're supposed to play, and how to communicate between your captains and then the administrators or the GMs that are the face of your team for esports. Hardware wise, again, you're looking at, if you're competing as low as just doing Smash Bros, you're going to have to get a Nintendo Switch. And I recommend, gaming, like GameCube controllers and the adapter. A lot of the Smash Bros players, if you know anybody or maybe yourself plays, they typically would rather play on a Pro controller or a GameCube controller. So there are those costs. So you're looking at, $200-$300 plus possibly a TV in your location. To gaming rigs can cost anywhere from $1,000 to $2,500 plus, depending on what you really want to put in there. The 30 series graphics cards right now, last time I checked, they were running $1,200 to $1,500. And those are probably 3070s, 3080s, the 3090s, I do believe, are out, and they're probably even more expensive. I haven't even looked lately. So I would previously say to build your own, it's a lot cheaper, but as of right now, the way the GPUs are running, it's almost better. And I would check with, Bytespeed is one of our sponsors, but I've actually purchased things with them in the past, and then CDW, we kind of work with them. But there are different programs out there where you can get some quotes and things like that. And I'm working with actually Bytespeed to get some gaming computers and things like that. So you can kind of pre-build your stuff. You can pick and choose what you want in there. You can even add 244 hertz monitors. You can add headsets, keyboard, mice, and all that. So it gives you a little bit of variance of what you want to spend, and you can kind of print that quote, take it to your board, take it to your. And what we did, I actually took it to the mayor here, and we're trying to do something community based, even where they're going to help fund some of the high school equipment needed for us to compete properly. And then moving forward, we're going to try to run some citywide tournaments and things like that. So reach out to your, local officials and aldermen and things like that. That could be an avenue to get some funding there. But it does vary. I think, to fully outfit a lab, like you're talking pretty high end gaming rigs, the 244 hertz monitors, keyboard, headset, mice, gaming desks, gaming chairs, all that. You're looking around, for 13 of them, probably $40K or so like that. I think that was the quote I did through CDW and Bytespeed. And again, that variance, you can get on Amazon, you can get on Newegg, you can kind of look at different parts and gaming peripherals and things like that and find different, options. I think we originally bought off of Amazon, we bought $20 keyboard mice combos just to get going, so there's a lot of leeway there of what you would need as a program, or where you can kind of start and then moving forward. So for matches, are students allowed to play from home? Many of my students have consoles. Is crossplay supported for some games? Yes. We actually, especially that was the beauty of esports unfortunately with COVID and everything going on, we were still able to compete. We were still able to function, where a lot of the other, as we all know, the other sports and things got shut down, suspended, moved, everything kind of got jumbled around. So a little bit of story, our Overwatch team kind of, came to fruition a little bit because of that, being able to play from home and things. We ended up winning a state title through IHSEA, and they moved on and played through NASEF and won a national title earlier in the year. While everyone else was unable to compete, we were able again to play from home and things like that. Now with consoles, I know with Smash Bros, it's all console related. Rocket League, I think they tend to want you to play on PC, but I know that's crossplay. I'm pretty sure you can play with your PS4, PS5s, things like that. And I don't think it's discouraged, as long as the functionality is there, where you don't want to deal with lag and anyone having an advantage over the others. So I think moving forward, the console scene of it will have its own probably separate functionality. But some of the games like Rocket League, I think they kind of seamlessly work together pretty well. But once you get into like some shooters and things, if they're cross playing that, then you got to deal with frame rate drop, someone dealing with somebody else having a better setup versus the console, so they're getting better FPS and that's always been an issue with cross play, I think, especially on the competitive scene. But there are options there with like Rocket League and Smash Bros. And then we've even done like Injustice through back when we actually did do stuff with Playverse. I had an Injustice kind of team going. So there are a lot of console options as well as just PC only. So and with that build I'm trying to get a nice console section for each gaming platform for there too, because I definitely want to encourage our console players as well as just our PC players. We still got about 5 to 10 minutes here. If anybody else has any other questions. Again, if anybody's trying to just start up a program, some of the stuff that we've done moving forward, I have come up and presented to our board members. I've presented to our local Rotary Club and things like that, just to kind of get that information out in the community. I'll share a story. Actually, one of the really cool things with esports, and something that hits home with me, is I've had a parent come running into my lab just going, "Oh my God, this is so great. This is something my student can do, my kid can do." And the certain child, he has dealt with cerebral palsy his entire life, and I never really even seen that angle of it until she came in and kind of just presented that to me. And that's really resonated with me since that day, and I'll always carry that. But it's not just those kids that can go out and run 100 yards on a football field or kick a ball or throw a ball or whatever. It's again, you're talking about everyone umbrellaed into one community not just your traditional athletes, but those kids that are not usually involved in other things. And a lot of times it's not just because they don't want to be involved, but it may be something that they can't do as easy as, another student can. So I always thought that was really neat. Earlier mentioned receiving some basic laptops. I wasn't able to get them written down. How did you come by those again? Okay, so State Farm, I actually had another faculty member. They told me about the gift grant that they have going on, and you can do a technological side of it, and you can do a furniture side of it. And we've used both sides of this. So, and I can get you. I'll have to see if I still have the link, but it's been a couple of years since we used it. But basically, just apply for it. And I had my administrator, my technology director, kind of fill out one portion of it about our high free reduced lunch, our different information for the district, more of the legal stuff for the grant. But you basically tell them that you're wanting X amount of laptops, and once the grant goes through, you'll get an email. It'll approve. I've not ever had an issue getting it approved as long as they have equipment. And I think they go on a 3-year cycle where they kind of rotate out the different laptops for the offices and things like that. So once they do that 3-year cycle, they'll have a nice stock. And we were sent were Dell computers and HP computers that had i5s in them. They had the Intel integrated, I think 4000 graphic. I'd have to go back and look at one, but they were enough to run League of Legends. If you've ever played League of Legends, that thing would run on an old like Dell Optiplex, even if you kind of updated a little bit of the stuff in it. But so that kind of helped us get started. And again, completely free. They just sign them off. They send them to you. We got about 25 different gaming computers. And that allowed us, even on just the casual side of it, to have the students be able to come in and they can play Minecraft on them. Just kind of have that availability for some of them students that don't have the proper equipment at home, or those that are kind of interested. They just want to come in and hang out and they play around on a laptop a little bit. Of course, you want it monitored through your local IT and things like that to make sure they're not getting on anything that they shouldn't be. But we've had great success with State Farm helping us get started there. So. We've also ran local tournaments. So reach out. I mean, I'm sure you've got a Buffalo Wild Wings or something like that around where they've let us come in and use one of their gaming or one of their TV walls, basically. And we've ran Smash Bros tournaments. So I brought in one of our TV monitors and put it down below on one of the TVs, or below one of the bigger TVs up on the wall or their projectors. And they kind of let us come in and run a Smash Bros tournament 2-3 years in a row. And I actually we do what I call Smash the Halls in December. And then we do racing into whatever year the next year is. And I do a Mario Kart tournament. And then we try to do some kind of fighting tournaments, like other games like Street Fighter or Injustice, or, even going into like doing like Madden or FIFA or NBA 2K or anything like that, kind of near that August area. You could kind of reach out to, the Buffalo Wild Wings or maybe a local business in your town or city that, kind of wants to cooperate with you and kind of get the word out there for the community and do those different things. And it's a good way to do fundraising and kind of meet some of the other, kids in the area, some of the other parents in the area. And not only like we do it over in Paducah, Kentucky. So that has helped us get the information out to some of the other high schools, even in another state. And here locally, I've helped be involved with like Murray State, trying to get, they've got a program going now. Shawnee Community College, we've, helped there and presented there. Johnny Logan, I know I've presented there. And then like SIU Carbondale, we've presented there. They've got a student ran club, there as well. So just kind of getting the information out there. There are a lot of businesses and community members and even local organizations and groups that would be happy to help. And that kind of goes back with, the high poverty area of like overcoming those obstacles. So you just got to, again, get creative with that and kind of find different avenues and different people to kind of help you out. And don't be afraid to ask for help, especially when it comes for the funding and everything. I know a lot of times I kind of spent my own money to kind of get it going. And I have no problem doing that because, it's came from those 8 students to now pushing 200 kids. That's bigger than our football team, JV, freshman, varsity all together. So I just think it's amazing how it's grown from those 8 kids walking across the yard in the back of our high school, carrying their own PCs and things like that to, having the club side and the competitive side, and being able to be involved in IHSEA and do those state tournaments and do those national tournaments and see these kids get scholarships and move on. So. A few more minutes here. If anybody else has any other questions, feel free to ask. Again, my email is bfrazier, Frazier, at IHSEA.org. And I've got a lot of this other information. We do onboarding meetings, like I said, once or twice a month. So if you know another school or administrator or anybody that's interested in some more information, we can get you signed up on our next meetings coming up. Probably, I would think we'd have some coming up in August. And I'd be happy to give them any information on any of the stuff that we've presented on. A lot of the times when I go up to like IdeaCon or anything like that, I bring a student with me to help present, because I think seeing the end result and seeing the passion come from them really helps that. So I wouldn't even mind getting, a student involved in that. How do you get students into Discord? So Discord's super easy. Just you download. You don't even have to download it. Really, you can do it browser-based, but a lot of the functionality, you really have to have the app on your PC. So you just download that, create a tag, an ID for Discord, and then we have, if you go to IHSEA.org, there's a way to get the Discord link and get invited into that, and then you'll start that verification process through there. And again, with your GM, same process, kind of go in, download Discord, get you a user ID and a tag, and then get verified. And through IHSEA, they'll categorize you. Like we have our own team page, and then I as a coach have my own channels in there, and then being part of the staff, we have our own separate channels in there too. So it's really organized in that Discord. Once you kind of get access to that, you'll see what I'm talking about. Is it harder for students to obtain a scholarship in low-income, small rural areas? One of the greatest things with esports, especially right now, is the scholarships are extremely ripe for the picking. They're as high school gains ground coming into esports, and we're getting more competitive. The collegiate level, they've been involved in this a lot longer now, but they're still building their programs, and we've got a lot of new programming building not just in the state of Illinois, but all throughout the world. So I've found it, as long as you get the info, like the students' info out, just like a traditional sport, get the VOD out, kind of contact with the other college, communities, college, coaches and things like that. It's not been too difficult for us to at least get some notice with our students. Again, like I've signed one student back. Oh God, it was probably 3-4 years ago. It was our first scholarship we had. He signed on to play Heroes of the Storm before their esports program or their esports funding kind of got axed through Blizzard. But he got a local college, I think it was Bresh University. They come down. We did a signing. It was in the paper. It was just like a traditional sport, and to be able to do something like that, it was really nice for the community to see that we're opening these doors for them. So, and then this past year we signed 2 to play Overwatch. And one of the neat things that we've experienced is not just students that are only in your high school. With IHSEA, we actually had a homeschooled student that didn't have this opportunity, was able to play for our team because they weren't represented by another club or team. And that led to one of these scholarships at Illinois Wesleyan. So, it's not just even the students that are sitting in your local facilities, local classrooms and things like that, but even those out in the community that would not have had that opportunity for a scholarship, those are available for them too. So it's not been too difficult for us being in a low income or small rural area. I hope that kind of answered your question there. But once those doors open, like we've got with Illinois Wesleyan and Murray State, and we've got some other local colleges and community colleges that are even jumping board onto esports because it's so easy to start a team. The more that happens, the more scholarship opportunities are coming, and being, open to these kids. And again, you've got students that not just gaming, you could come in and somebody could come in and do your design for your logo and do all your, social media and getting your Twitch channel and logos and all that. And that could lead to a scholarship for them as well. Or you could have someone coming in and do shoutcasting, or even just breakdown statistics of, how your team's been doing, your KDA, your things like that. All that stuff can potentially lead to scholarship and career opportunities. That's one of the great things with, I'm going to use soccer again. You've got a soccer scholarship, that's about it. Whereas with esports, you've got shoutcasting, media, you've got gaming, you've got technology, you've got law, everything all umbrellaed into one, where one avenue that these students can have access to can lead to a plethora of scholarship opportunities. One of the things that NASEF has, they have different scholarship opportunities on there for like design. So a student can come on there. It's like activity, I think, is what it's under on there. So again, you don't have to just be a gamer. You can come in and move forward if you just really like art and design and media and social media and things like that. There's ways to get funding and ways to get grants and ways to get scholarship opportunities through there as well. I think that's my time, but I'm happy to stick around for a minute or two. If anybody else has any other questions, again, feel free to reach out to me, Frazier at IHSEA.org. If you guys just want any information, it's all there saved. I'm happy to share it with you if it helps anybody get started. I'm happy to have a one-on-one conversation. If you have any other questions that arise, maybe some of the stuff that we've experienced getting started, and again being a higher poverty area and a lower area. I mean, we're a small town here. I'm from Massac County High School, so Metropolis, Illinois, home of Superman, all the way down south is the most southern you can get in Illinois without being in Kentucky, really. So, we've definitely had some uphill battles getting going, but we were the first and one of the only teams in the Southern Illinois area right now. So we're really trying to drive home and get more information out there and get more of these students and faculty members involved in our area, as well as through the state and nation. So thank you again for everybody joining in. I appreciate your time. Oh yeah, I can type that out here. Let me put that in chat. Right there is my email. Lucas, I didn't realize you was in there. Speaking of one of the students that got a scholarship, Mr. Lucas right there, he is one of the students I was speaking about in Overwatch, moving into Illinois Wesleyan. So right there is the prime example. Right there's the end result that we had, starting from that 8 students all the way up to Lucas just graduating this past school year, moving on and getting those opportunities. I see where Mr. Brian Hoots asked if Illinois sanctioned esports yet. I did talk about IHSEA a bit. You may have to reach out to some of the panel members, but they haven't sanctioned it fully yet. But the last I heard, they were looking to do so, maybe even this school year. So I'm hoping that happens. Got another question come in. If have students who want to compete using a controller instead of a gaming keyboard, are they improved gaming controllers that would help that? It's really preference. Some people like using, like I said earlier, using Smash Brothers as a reference. Some people really like GameCube controllers, like old time GameCube controllers. Some really like Pro controllers. So a lot of times with the breakdown of the seasons and stuff, and IHSEA is usually pretty open about letting the kids use what they prefer as far as equipment go. But even some of the other ones you might do through like Battlefy and maybe HSCL and Playverse, it should say in their tournament rules or guidelines if certain controllers are barred. I know when we do our tournaments over, like I mentioned, Buffalo Wild Wings, we allowed them to use GameCube controllers. We had an adapter if they wanted to use a Pro controller, or if they wanted to use the Joy-Cons even. We were pretty open. As long as it doesn't give someone a specific advantage over the other, everybody kind of had a free, fair play pool there to use whatever. And I even brought some of our own controllers. So if a student maybe, again, didn't have that at home, we had equipment available for them to use at the tournaments and the high school as well. So I think for the most part, any of the gaming controllers, you just probably have to look up, do your due diligence on, like anything you buy. If you want to get a gaming keyboard, you're going to look up, what kind of switch you want, cherry red, you want, different mechanicals or things like that. It's really your preference. I don't think there's really anything, they're going to the bar ban unless it gives them like a turbo mode. Like I'm aging myself, but like SNES turbo mode on a controller or something like that, but generally all of them are welcome and okayed to use in competitive and in tournaments and things like that. Move this. Well, I've got a queue. I've got another session coming up, so I'm gonna have to move over to that. Again, feel free, email me, reach out to me. I'll be happy to answer any questions or help out with anything moving forward. I don't even mind, communicating with your administrative or your athletic directors or anything like that, sharing any information, giving them the PowerPoints or thing like that. But again, thank you for your time. Thank you for taking the moment to go through my presentation. I hope I didn't, stumble through it too bad, but thanks again. I hope you guys enjoy. Check out these other sessions. I'm getting ready to go to the IT portion of the next one here. Maybe I'll see some of you there. So thanks again.